Hey everyone, welcome to Something Genuine. I am your host, Twwk, and I'm so thankful that you're joining me on this journey here where we're having an authentic conversation with guests related to anime and really trying to kind of break down walls between each other and between us and you and really kind of dig in a little bit deeper into something genuine. So I'm very excited about today's guest. If you're an anime fan, you've probably seen him all over the place. He just does all these kind of fun videos. He's at a ton of conventions. He was at the Crunchyroll Awards in 2025. He's on TikTok. He's all over the place. He's always bringing energy and enthusiasm, doing fun stuff with the fans, and he loves boba too. we might get into that as well. But you will know him as the voice of Marco Diaz in Star versus the Forces of Evil, as my favorite Ichikawa in Kaiju No. 8, as Yuji Itadori in Jujutsu Kaisen. The Jujutsu Kaisen movie just recently came out as well. And I think after this conversation, I'm sure you're also going to recognize him as just this really thoughtful, great human being. Adam McArthur is our guest today. Say hello to Adam. Hey, Adam. It is good to see you again.
Good to see you too.
Yeah, no, I wanted to. I want to ask you lots of things.
Okay.
We had an interview a couple years ago, but you've had so much stuff going on since then. Just kind of you're all over the place. So many videos. You're always on my timeline.
Sorry, or thank you for watching. I don't know, whichever.
No, it's been fun. I mean, a little corny, but fun. It's good stuff, right? It's been terrific, and then all the incredible anime too. And I guess that's the first thing I want to ask you about, which is this most recent release of Jujutsu Kaisen Execution. And it just must be really exciting to have a film in theaters.
It was really cool. Yeah, it was really cool. I'm in general, typically like anime recap movies are not my favorite thing. Just not because of like, some people say it's like, oh, it's a money grab. Not even for that reason. I actually like going and watching these things on the big screen. I think it's worth the price of the ticket. I think that's fun. But sometimes the edits of them, it's like, oh, well, they cut out this or they cut out that. Because they have to, you know?
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, JJK Execution was awesome. I think Shibuya Incident was like ripe for a big screen release. And then obviously the stuff we got with Culling Games. It was an epic way to kick off the third season. So yeah, it was awesome.
I'm so excited about the Culling game arc. The last season of Jujutsu Kaisen was just so ridiculously awesome, right? Just one episode after another. And then I finally started getting into the manga at that point because I couldn't wait. I'm sorry.
Yeah,
for the anime. But I'm excited to see, all that's coming ahead now. We're just, Jujutsu Kaisen is just it's nonstop till the end, right? One episode after another, so exciting. So I'm really excited about that. I was, another thing that I was really surprised. I mean, I shouldn't be surprised because you're in a lot of different things, but I didn't realize that you were in the new pilot episode for Homestuck.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, what was that experience like?
That honestly was a very fast experience. It was cool. I had the audition maybe a month before the pilot got cast, and then I went in on like a Thursday, recorded the pilot. I was like, okay, cool. Like, what's your guys' plan for this? Like, is it coming out next year? They're like, no, we're cutting a trailer tomorrow, and the pilot releases in like a month. I was like, oh, okay, cool. So yeah, so that was really neat. I mean, it's cool to be on these kinds of projects that have like a built-in following already. It can be a double-edged sword, but at the same time, I think that because the original creator is involved, Andrew Hussey, and it's just in such good hands with the production studio Spindle Roo out of Australia. And yeah, it was really cool. I'm excited.
Yeah, no, it's really exciting for a lot of fans. I mean, for me, it kind of snuck up on me because Homestuck was such a huge thing at conventions for so long, right? It was this big deal.
It's before I was at conventions, so I truly like don't have an awareness of how big it was, other than now people telling me,
yeah,
how big it is.
Like, I can't believe you're in this. No, that's really cool to be part of that. And then I want to touch on another anime too, because it's my wife's favorite anime, which is Kaiju #8. And my favorite character from it is Ichikawa. So,
Nice. Let's go.
yeah, no, he's awesome. I guess what I want to ask you about it was maybe a little context for this question. We're at this point now, and same thing with JJK, right? Where anime has kind of hit this mainstream. Maybe is not quite the right term for it, but it is becoming more mainstream. It's becoming less niche. Kaiju #8 is one of these kind of points for me where it was so surreal being an anime fan for decades and decades that I was listening to Sirius XM, and the DJ was like, "Oh, do you guys, what's your favorite kaiju?" And I was like, "What am I listening to right now?" It was like a pop station, right? And I was like, "What are they talking about?" And there was this introduction for one of the songs from Kaiju #8, right? That they were going to play on the radio, and I was like, "Man, we've hit this really crazy, like, awesome time in society right now." I mean, can you feel the difference? You've now that you've been doing anime for a few years, and you've kind of joined this, right? Do you feel like the difference in where we are now, as opposed to even like 5 years ago, with the popularity of anime?
Oh yeah, for sure. Kaiju #8 is actually a really good example because whoever decided to market it and kind of like finish it out the way that they are
Hmm.
doing it is a testament to this because you have like One Republic, doing some of the music and stuff like that. So it is sort of like a blending of stuff here and stuff from Japan kind of all coming together to create this like this this fusion of like this really cool series. And I just think it's awesome. But yeah, no, I can definitely feel the popularity. I mean, even with like Megan the Stallion using a clip of mine on her song and
I saw that.
um
Yeah.
yeah, everywhere you go, you see it out in the wild too. It's like, you don't just go to like a hot topic to find anime merch. It's at Target, it's at Walmart, it's at these like bigger real retail chains that sort of follow the trends slightly behind where they might be headed. So yeah, it's been awesome. It's also cool for my friends who have been um fans of this stuff for so long to finally have their moment where they can say like, "See, I told you. I've been telling you." It's cool.
Do you now that you've voiced these characters that are in anime that are just growing in so much popularity, are you enjoying the kind of the fame and kind of that's coming with it? I mean, that part of the job?
Yeah, I mean, it's I'm not really my needle is not moved by
Yeah.
fame, if
Yeah.
you call it that. Like I just we're all people, we're all in this together. I'm doing my job. I'm going to work is what I'm doing when I do this stuff. With that said, it's all like I'm doing what I've chosen for my job is stuff that I've always really loved and that I find to be
Mhm.
really cool. But as far as like how I view myself and all that stuff, I'm just like a regular guy just having fun. Yeah. So I don't know. It's cool that I'm able to make the thing that I've loved since I was a kid a career. I will say that.
Mhm.
And a rise in popularity and all of it helps that. One of the things I just value as a person is like making sure everyone's good. Like I care about my community a lot. Like my close friends, I check in on them. I like to make sure people are good. And in a way, this is like a big community that I now get to do that with. So for that reason, I like it. It gives me access to a lot of people. And yeah, I like that element of it.
I really want to talk about that community aspect and kind of dig a little bit into that. But before we get to that, I want to ask how you've gotten this part of your personality that doesn't let it go to your head, because I mean, honestly, I don't want to talk you up too much, but just thinking about myself, if growing up, I w- um movies and acting and all that wasn't really my thing. I didn't develop that skill or anything like that. But in my dreams, I was like, man, I love to be in Hollywood. I love to be in movies. I wasn't thinking about voice acting, but I think if I was growing up now, I'd be thinking about that as well. And part of it was the creativity aspect, and part of it was like, man, I want to be famous and well known. Like, how do you have that kind of place where it's like, oh no, that isn't, like you said, moving your needle. Where'd you get that from?
Man, I don't know. Probably martial arts. I just think that is like it's so humbling. Martial arts is so
Mm,
humbling, and I've done things in martial arts that are like pretty. Like I competed at really high levels. Um, I won a lot. I lost a lot. And I think that's just kind of how life, it's like a microcosm for life, you know? It's just like you win some, you lose some, and that's a human experience and that everyone experiences. But also I think like my driving force for doing and being able to last in LA and continue having a career and stuff like that also comes from there's like a saying my kung fu teacher used to say all the time, like you have to be able to taste the bitter.
mm,
So you have to be able to like, you can thrive when you're thriving, but you also have to be able to thrive when it's tough also. And I think I've just gotten used to that. But as far as like the celebrity, like not moving my needle so much for like the celebrity stuff, I would say that, yeah, I don't know. It's just the life I've lived, I guess. I've had and I've had not many times in this industry. When I first moved to LA in '03, I moved down here and I got a manager right away. I got discovered in a Samuel French bookstore, and the guy was like, "Do you have a manager? Come take a meeting." I took a meeting. About a month later, I was signed with him and had booked my first national commercial for like on-camera commercial. And then I was doing like, I don't know, 10 commercials a year, and commercials at that time in the early 2000s were paying a lot of money.
mm,
And so I was like, this is it, man. Like, I'm living the dream. I knew it. I always said it. Moved to LA, started working, and then the recession hit in like '08, '07, '08. All the commercial work went away. It's still to this day not as good as it was before. To me, it's not even worth auditioning for. So that brought like a little bit of rough, like a rough patch where I was like, all right, like, what am I going to do here? And then decided, I was like, all right, well, I'm thinking about too much about acting. Maybe I should start a side business. So I started a side business, not entertainment related, all this stuff. So just all these things sort of have made it like, we're just people, this idea of celebrity. I treat it like a responsibility because I know that maybe that's how I view it, but I know that there are people who do, I see it weekly when I go to conventions. People have like put me on this sort of pedestal, which is great, but I also see it as a responsibility. And I don't even view that as they're there for me because they don't truly know me. You don't know what, it's this, you,
mhm.
you see what I give you online and stuff like that. And you see what I give in my performances. And so a lot of people sort of make that, oh, I want to know him. He's so cool. Da, 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 da.
Mhm.
It's like, you actually don't really know me. So the way I view like going to conventions and how people treat me when it comes to this stuff is actually not that it's about me. It's not that, oh, they think I'm cool. They love the character that I play. And it's
Mhm.
my responsibility when I meet somebody to bridge the gap between that character and them. So I'm more like a bridge. I think a bridge is a good way to look at it. And really, I'm just lucky to get to voice all these good boys as opposed to people or characters that everyone hates. That would probably be a much different experience. I'm very grateful that it is I voice such sweet characters. So yeah.
Absolutely.
Hopefully that all makes sense. It's not too heady.
No,
Yeah.
well, no, the problem is I have like five questions from that I'm trying to keep arranged. No, that's great stuff. But then how would you, I mean, you mentioned that you're this bridge, and you also mentioned that, when there's this kind of fan culture, and now we're in this time, you didn't mention this, but I'm making this connection that we're in this time where we're able to connect, more easily with people we admire or people who are giving voices to characters we like.
Mhm.
Um, Now that we can connect with those people, we're like, oh yeah, I get to meet Adam McArthur, but we don't really know the real you. Who is the real Adam McArthur? How would you describe yourself to an audience that maybe sees you more as Yuji or as or TikTok video Adam?
Yeah, yeah. I mean,
Who's the real Adam McArthur?
yeah, these are all parts of me. I mean, it's my job to relate to the character, and I think casting did a good job. I have a lot of things in common with Yuji, and I don't think I'm not. I am being genuine. Like when even these like goofy little funny videos that I post and
Hmm.
stuff like that. This is stuff I do with my castmates before I was ever even filming it. So it's not like I don't mean that this isn't the real me. I just mean that like fans aren't there when I'm, you know, going like when there's a death in the family or when there,
Hmm.
like the things that
Hmm.
are the human experience.
Hmm.
You're only seeing glimpses of it. So, it's hard to say somebody. I mean, but it's not
Hmm.
that doesn't also mean that these things are not actually who I am. I do think I am a pretty genuine person. I'm not like putting
Hmm.
on an air of anything
Yeah.
or faking at something. So, when you see me yelling at a fan for coming up to my in Mahito cosplay, I'm gonna do that in real life too, whether I'm filming or not.
Yeah.
Like these are things that are me. But I just mean like there's a difference between that and then like having a friendship with somebody and having like a personal relationship with somebody.
Yeah.
You're there when you're high and you're there when you're low, and um yeah, it's different, but I still am I'm a pretty genuine guy, I think.
Yeah, we can't experience the fullness of a
Yeah,
relationship with someone when we're only seeing aspects of them, right? Or
yeah,
we're meeting them at a setting where it's your job at that point to kind of meet their expectation and make them enjoy
yeah,
the experience, right?
yeah,
And so we get to see a fraction of you, right? But
right.
no, I think that's a really great point and important one, right? I've seen it was recently, right, that uh, there was a voice actor thing on Twitter where someone, maybe one of your castmates, had posted the idea like, "Hey, I'm not my character," and it really resonated with a lot of other voice actors. Hey, and probably like you might have 9 great experiences, and then you may have that one that may uh not make you feel so great, or
Yeah.
maybe a bad experience for you.
I do find the trend of saying like, "Don't call me my character name, I'm not my character," and all that stuff. Listen, I can only speak from my experience, so
Hmm.
there probably are, peers of mine, especially females who maybe voice like, sexier characters or something like
Hmm.
that, where this idea of separation, like, "Do not treat me like that," is really important. So, I'm not speaking to that. I'm speaking
Hmm.
just from my own personal experience. For me, when I'm walking around a con and someone's like, "Hey, Yuji," like, I'm fine with that. I don't mind
Hmm.
that. I don't mind that you make a correlation between me and my character. I think that, in my case, I feel like I'm lucky to be that character, so I'm not gonna put down or knock the thing that has helped make my career what it is, you know? And that again, that's just my case. I understand that different people have different audiences and different fans, and yeah, there are definitely probably other instances where it's more important for
I'm
fans.
glad that your experiences have been so positive. And if we're talking about relationships a little bit, and kind of these positive aspects. It really seems like you're very close to your Jujutsu Kaisen castmates.
Mhm.
How did those relationships? How did that closeness and that intimacy develop between you all?
Yeah, I think, I mean, part of it is just like time together. Even though we don't record together, we spend countless weekends together traveling and doing conventions and stuff like that. We're all kind of around the similar age, similar places in life. And I am very blessed to have castmates that are good people. They are all really great people. Yeah, the like me, Anne, who voices Nobara, KG, who voices Gojo. We probably spend the most, like us three, probably spend the most conventions together. Robbie's there a lot. We can get Ray in there, and then of course, like all the other kind of secondary Jujutsu Kaisen cast. Allegra Clark is awesome. Matthew David Rudd, like it's just full of a lot of good people, and we all care about the project, and we know what we have in our hands, and we're all very grateful. Yeah, there's not a bad egg in that group, and yeah, I'm very thankful for it.
That's awesome. Um, Being at all these conventions, I read somewhere, maybe you can tell me if this is accurate. I think you're at about 30 conventions a year. Is that right?
Yeah, it might even be like more than it might even be a little more like 34, 38, something like that.
Holy moly.
It's a lot.
How do you and then you also have some special events and things like that also going on, and then you have um voice acting, obviously. You've got martial arts,
Mhm.
just personal life in general. I mean, how do you balance all that? Especially when I think about conventions, I think, okay, well, your weekend is sucked up. You've got travel time. You've got odd hours sometimes. And so there's adjusting to that and then back to the normal flow of life. How do you find balance between all this busyness going on of all these kind of really disparate pieces?
I don't know.
That's a great answer.
That's
See, that's genuine.
that's a true answer. I don't know. I and I feel like some weeks I feel like I'm doing a great job of it, and some weeks I feel like I'm doing a bad job of it. With that said, it is all of these good things that I've mentioned, and it is also a lot. I feel like I gotta take advantage of it while I have it in front of me. Yeah, it gets hard. Like to your point, you know, if I'm leaving on Thursday and I'm back on Sunday night, usually Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday are full of sessions. Like today, this is my last interview of the day. Had a 9 a.m., a 10 a.m., and 11 a.m. interview, and then I have a session 1:30 to 5:30. So yesterday, I had like three. I had kickboxing at 10. Oh wait, I didn't go yesterday. I had too much going on, so I had 3 sessions yesterday, so that was that. Um, I don't know, it's all a lot, but the thing is, like, especially with the conventions and stuff, I'm choosing to do that. I could not do that if I wanted. So I feel a little bit responsible to not complain about what I've chosen to do, and I have this thing that I've always thought that is, you know, when you have a dream or a goal that when you finally achieve it and you're there doing it, you shouldn't complain about it. And not to say that it's not also a lot and it can be a lot, but I try and like hack my life a little bit in that. I have an amazing team around me, my agents, my publicists, things like that, who kind of help manage the schedule and the calendar and things like that, which is hectic for them, I know, but is helpful for me. Um, and then when I'm home, I had I have this idea of making sure that I'm bringing the energy that I'm bringing to everyone else to my own life. And so I try and just make sure I get good rest when I can and keep a positive attitude at all times. I think that really does make a difference. So,
That's probably a good measurement of having of that balance kind of going too far to one way or another. If you can't bring that kind of encouragement into your sphere around you personally, right? Then that you're bringing to the job, then it's like, well, maybe this is overwhelming it a little bit. And there are periods where that's going to happen, right? You can't tell, you can't always predict it, but
yeah, totally.
for
Yeah,
sure. What
there was a moment early on in conventions when I would come home and just be dead and tired and stuff like that. And my wife would say, you are giving everyone else your best energy. And then you come home and I get what's left. And I was like, all right, that's all I needed to hear. Thank you very much. That'll never happen again. All right, cool. Here we
well,
go.
that's a tough one. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. But you know, it's good. And I have multiple people in my life speaking things like that. And I
Hmm.
think kind of a lot of the questions you've asked are like, why, how come you think like that? Or why is it like that? And I think it is just, um, I'm particular with who I surround myself by. And I do notice when I have peers who constantly post about, I'm doing all this work, or I signed for this long, or I didn't eat today to, because I wanted to sign and like things like that. And I'm like, if I could just give them a piece of advice, it would be like, don't do that. Don't do that, because your words are also powerful. What you say
Mhm.
is what people will see you as. And I think it's important to continually be grateful. And if you are doing too much, not blame it on outside factors, but take responsibility for that yourself, and then make a change so that you can, you know, continue to do this for as long as possible.
Yeah, it's you all in this industry have worked hard to build these platforms. But what's amazing about these platforms is that you have the ability to use them and affect people like in a really positive way or a possibly negative way, right?
Yeah.
Powerful stuff. I wonder, kind of along these same lines. I'm a little bit older now. I'm 40 or something, and I think you're probably about my age as well. Like, are you feeling it more at this age? When you've got to, again, you got to do the conventions, but I'm thinking martial arts too. Like, is it tougher, or are you still like you still got that energy, enthusiasm, strength that you've had these years?
Yeah, I still think I have a lot of it. I'm a
Good.
pretty tenacious person. I think I still have a lot of. I don't feel any different when I'm in class. I mean, I'm competing with, not competing, but I'm like training with people half my age at this point, and I don't feel slower. I don't feel necessarily anything like that. However, I will say that it definitely, there's definitely days where I'm like, I just want to stay home and sleep. It's a little bit harder. But I'm training. I'm not training for a competition or anything like that these days. So I had to ask myself, as someone who has always strived for competing at the highest level and things like that, like, what am I doing this for? What is the point now? And at this point, I have realized that the point of training for me is to be able to train for as long as possible. So I want to do this for as long into my life as possible. So with that said, the changes that I do see are, I'm fine giving myself rest if I feel like I need to rest. Some days, the way I view it is the workout is getting to the workout. So no matter what I accomplish when I'm there, even if I don't break a sweat, at least going. Consistency is the important part. Um, and yeah, so I'm okay with that. Whereas before I'd be like, man, you suck. Like, what are you doing? You gotta be doing this, you gotta be doing that. Not anymore. So I have a slightly different mental approach, and I would say that's the thing as I get older that's changed.
I mean, that's wisdom. That's great advice for so much of what we do, whether we're doing martial arts or even just working out. If we have some sort of work project or personal project we're working on, even relationships, right? The idea that, hey, you may not reach that goal today, but hey, here's a different goal that's maybe just as meaningful. Just getting there, just saying
Also,
I'm gonna go out touch grass today, no matter what happens.
showing up is just as important as whatever you're achieving when you're there. And I think setting yourself up to be consistent is a good goal.
It's good stuff. I do want to lean into kind of advice from you a little bit because one thing that I find, or a type of person I find fascinating, are those who are achieved like expertise, like a certain level of expertise in different fields, right? Like, and I think of you, you've reached this excellence in martial arts. There's PBS specials out there. I haven't watched them, but that's fascinating to me from earlier, right, in your
Yeah.
career. So we've got that, and then of course the acting as well. So you've if you I don't know if you would consider yourself a master, but you're on the road at least, or you are a master of those kind of two different fields. If there's someone out there watching this right now that one doesn't really know what they're good at, or two has found something but is struggling to master it, what would be your advice to those folks?
Just be patient. Just be patient. Just keep chipping away. It's like a nobody opens a bank account and has $1 million in it unless you have had a bank account that you started with $1, $2, $3, $4. You have to invest in yourself. I think in just today, in society today, it's all about like the end result. Like, what is this for? What is it's the goal. And as someone who has been goal oriented my whole life, if you ask me now, like, well, what are your goals? What's your dream project? I'll just say, I don't know. I don't know. I've achieved everything I always wanted to do. I have it all. So then what does it become about, you know? I think the importance of, or the placement of importance on the end result and the goal and what you could be and all this stuff has sort of permeated um so many people's mindset these days, that the emphasis on just doing a good job of what's right in front of you and letting your work speak for itself has kind of gone by the wayside. So I guess my best piece of advice would be, no matter what it's doing, when you're doing no matter what you're doing, when you're doing it, do it as best you can. And here's the thing, it doesn't matter what it is. Are you a barista at Starbucks? Your goal should be doing it as good as you can that day. Is your job training for some tournament or something like that? Your goal should be just doing it as best you can that day. Now, your best you can that day might be different on a different day, but just doing as best you can that day, and then letting time reveal for you the next steps and what you're doing. So again, hopefully that's not too heady. I just think I'm getting old, so
Well, but it takes time to learn that,
it
when
does.
especially when you're younger, it's just natural to think of, okay, very kind of 2D. This is the goal, and these are the steps I'll take to achieve it, and not understand that the process itself ends up kind of being the goal, right? That ends up being where the growth happens, and that's where you can appreciate it. But it takes years, and it takes failure, I
Yeah,
think.
totally. I would say my other big piece of advice is to make friends, be
Mm,
genuine, make friends. Um, and I think when you build relationships, that is networking. And so down the road, if you have built genuine friendship with people, you're going to always have people who are looking out for you and willing to help you, and that's important.
I love that. That's great stuff. I want to let you go. You got a lot of other things to do, but I just want to ask one real quick, maybe fun question. I see all this cool stuff on the back of your your
Yeah.
wall there, and it, how should I say? It's not all just you. This is not Adam's like career and life back here, but it's also like stuff that it seems like you grew up with or that you really deeply appreciate. Is there something back there that you particularly like and want to point out to the viewers here and explain what that is?
Hmm. I like all my stuff.
Yeah, I bet.
Let me see. All right. So right there
Hmm.
is the original Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles turtle van and the original four turtles from like 1987 or whatever it is. That was my toy when I was a kid. It's all played with. Leonardo's sword is broken. But I have that in there, and yeah, I don't know, that one means a lot to me. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles was really influential. Anyone who grew up in the '80s, but Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles was really influential. Um, I've always loved turtles. This actually whole thing is turtles over here. But yeah, in a way it's like don't forget where you came from. It's easy to lose yourself in adulthood. And while some people might be like, that's a grown man with toys, for me, it's a reminder that it's okay to love what you love, and it's okay to have fun doing what you're doing. So, yeah.
No better way to end it. I love it. Yeah, thank you so much, Adam. I really appreciate your time today. I think I hope that people are listening to this all the way through, because there's so much I think that we can learn from you, take from you, and see in your models. So thank you so much. I hope everything continues to go well, continued success for you,
For sure.
and thanks for joining us today.
Of course. Yeah. Thanks for having me. Great chatting as always.
Thank you guys for tuning in to Something Genuine and my interview with Adam. I hope you enjoyed it. I was reflecting a little bit on it, and how I expected to talk about really Adam's boba meetups, which, has been talked about ad nauseum. So I'm glad kind of that we didn't go there. But what we got instead was just this great advice from Adam that was unexpected. I think particularly what was really cool was his thoughts about friendship. And as someone who has children, I think about how we often talk about friendship with the kids and how important that is. And we grow up knowing that. But Adam's in his 40s and he's married. And I'm also in my 40s and I'm married. And friendship continues to be important. And really hit on the idea of surrounding yourself with people that care about you. And this is me talking now, not Adam, but I think about the idea of accountability and support and taking care of you when things are difficult. And Adam mentioned that as well. And so don't let those friendships die, or don't let the desire to build friendships die. Whatever community you're in, whatever you're plugged into, whatever your culture's like, that stuff is key. That's really so foundational to life. And if you're without some of those friendships, life is hard, right? So if you need some of the friendships, I encourage you to come over to Beneath the Tangles. We have a great Discord community. But otherwise, hope that you'll find them wherever you are. And I hope that you'll continue to keep watching Something Genuine, that you'll like it. Like this video, subscribe to it, share it with your friends, and keep coming back. Take care, guys. God bless.